Page 13, Pop Goes the Weasel. On page 12, they're introducing you to another type of articulation, and that's called a slur. A slur is where you connect the notes, sort of. And it's indicated with that curved line. This gets confusing, so stay with me. Back on page 4, they introduced you to the phrase, and the phrase can be indicated with a slur line. Doesn't have to be, but it can. So that slur line is used for multiple things, and it's used for more things besides this. That sometimes in looking in the music, trying to figure out what the slur line is for, that gets interesting. You got to look at it. But this is a slur, and it simply means to connect the notes. Now here they're dealing only with 2-note slurs. So you can slur any number of notes together. I don't really agree with their drop roll action they've got going. The idea with the slur is the first note you're coming down, claps the wrist a little, and the second one you're going back up with the wrist. Let the wrist lead. You don't stand still and try and do it with the fingers. You let the wrist, but I don't roll necessarily. I lift. I go down and up. So it's like on page 12, that first one, they have a 1, 2 here, and it's down on this one. You can't see it very well. It's down. And I just go down up. And I don't breathe in between these slurs. I try and breathe in between phrases, like taking a breath in between sentences. I don't necessarily breathe between slurs. Because you can have a lot of quick little slurs. I'd be panting if I tried to breathe between each one. And that's basically the slur. That's about as complicated as it gets. You don't always lift up before and after a slur. Or after a slur. Most of the time you do. You have to. It depends on the music and what the music needs as to whether you're going to lift up before or after a slur or both. And a phrase you lift up. And a slur you may not. Let's look at this pop thing and see what happens. It's 2 lines long, 3/4 time signatures, so we're only counting to 3. We're still counting quarter notes. There's no sharps or flats in the key signature when the key is C major, but we have some accidentals to deal with. I should say an accidental, there's only one. We're coming in on a pickup beat. There's only one beat in the first measure, that's beat 3. The first 2 beats are in the last measure. So they take the last measure and cut it. Remember we went through this? So we're coming in on beat 3. We have quarter notes and quarter rests and dotted half notes. We can handle all that, I hope. Gets a little tricky when we get to the pop, but I'll talk about that. I'm going to kind of take this both hands at the same time because it's only one hand or the other playing. They're not playing together. So the left hand starts at little finger on G. And that's the only finger numbers you need until you get to the pop. You can leave the pop there, but all these other finger numbers in the left hand, you should cross these out. You only need the first 2 because you're not moving around. Your hand's here, staying here. You just play whatever finger is on that key, and you need to remember which finger's on the key. Well, if you look at, you only playing 2 notes in the left hand, a G and a C. That's it until you get to the pop. I'll talk about the pop later. So really, that's it. That's all you. They can keep giving you 2-5, 2-5. You don't need them. You already know it's 2-5, 2-5. The right hand starts with thumb on middle C here, so you're here. And you don't need any of these other finger numbers in the right hand at all. No, I would prefer you to cross them all out. You only need to know where to put the hand to start. You're not moving around any, so you're staying right here. Please don't read finger numbers. Read the notes. So hands are kind of on top of each other. Now, which one is first? Don't know. Probably you're not using the thumb in the left hand. You're only using these. So chances are the left hand can be here and the right hand can be here because it needs the thumb. But if it's easier for you to have the left hand on top, that's up to you. Just here. That's what you need. Now again, you're only playing one hand at a time, so you can get one hand slightly out of the way when you need to. So at the beginning, let's just get the notes first. You got here and here, and then the right hand plays that C. So the left hand just gets out of the way. And then go. Just make sure you got all these notes I'll talk about the pop later. Put in the counting, because you got quarter rests in there. So it's 3-1, 3-1, 2, 3. See, you're resting on beat 2. There's a quarter rest in each staff. They're kind of scrunched up together, but beat 2, there's a quarter rest in each staff. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. So just make sure you're resting on beat 2 on most of these measures. Now let's talk about the pop. You see it there in the second line. It's about the middle of the line. It has LH over. That means the left hand is going to come over the right, and you're going to use fingers 3 and 2 to play those notes. And they are a G sharp and an A together. So that's the pop. That's all it is. And once you do that, you can bring the left hand back. You can put it wherever. You don't have to leave the left hand here because you don't have any more pops. So you can bring it back here, and the right hand finishes it up. You go through, get the notes and the rhythms working out okay. No hesitations. Keep it nice and slow is fine. Then we'll add in the articulation. And the articulation, remember, is the slurs and the staccatos and the accents and that stuff. Well, we have slurs. We're going to down, up, rest, down, up as you do this. It's a small motion. Some people, when you see them playing, they're doing this with their hands. There's no value in that as I can see. It's just for show. They may inside themselves feel this. To me, that's all silly. Just lift up. You don't have to get all exaggerated here. Just lift up. Rest. Down, up, rest. Now these, there's nothing more. Go ahead and connect them. It's like there's a slur over the whole thing. Now where the half note is, that's 2 counts. And the third beat is here. So there's no rest in here. You don't get 1 beat rest in this measure. So it's 1, 2, 3. In the second line, where the pop is, that's an accent. And those hinge at the wrist and short. Just bounce off the keys. And there's the accent makes play a little louder. A little more weight. Boom. And they come up. And the staccato, accent is wrist. Now there's phrases in here too. If you want to put in the phrases, that's fine. You can follow the words for the phrases. Where's the comma or the period or something in the words? And you see after the half note, the first line, there's a comma. So I could lift up the C just before I play the G. It's like taking a breath there. It's not a full beat rest or nothing. It's just a slight, just for the phrase. Because this is a sentence. Lift up right there. That's one sentence. And then another sentence. It's another sentence. Here you have a 1 beat rest. You have to lift up. So that's okay. And then in the second line after the dotted half note, right before you play it, lift up. So there's a little silence and you go pop. So you can put in the phrasing here if you want. Just lift up between the phrases. Dynamics, they don't give you any dynamics except the F for the pop. So somewhere in the middle. It's not soft, it's not real loud, it's just somewhere in the middle. And then the pop is loud, forte is loud, with an accent makes it very loud. So it's going to be a loud pop. But don't bang on the piano. Just make it, use the wrist, flex the wrist, and make it a musical pop. As far as the speed goes, supposedly it's a happy song. I don't know if it really is or not, but it's a children's song. We used to sing this when I was a little kid. But it has to be accurate. What can you do accurately? Let's play it together very slowly and make sure we have the right notes and rhythms. So I'll give us 2 counts. Ready, go, and then we go. Very slowly. We're not performing out. We're just checking notes and rhythms here. Ready, go. Rest. Rest. 2. Rest. Rest. 2, 3, 1, rest. Rest. 2. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 2. 1, 2, 3, 1, rest. There's a duet at the bottom of the page for this. I'd like to play that, sort of. And you play what you just played. Go speed it up a little bit. And in the duet, it doesn't really do a lot. It's just mainly dotted half notes, and I need to keep the beat. So I'm going to change the duet a little bit so I'm playing quarter notes throughout. Even when you're resting, I'm going to play a quarter note so we can stay together. So I'll give us 2 counts. Ready, go. Now, the bottom part doesn't have a pickup beat, so I'm going to play that note with you. So we'll be together. And then I'll play something. I don't know what I'll play. I'll think of something. Ready, go.